Okay, last night after the first round of the NFL draft, I talked to John Beck, who right now is the top private QB coach in the world. Of course, coaching guys currently in the NFL. He had Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, the 1 and 2 picks. His guys go early, right, which was awesome. I talked to him about Jaren Hall, specifically what he's hearing, potential team and round he thinks Jaren Hall could go in, plus Zach Wilson's situation in New York. He feels like he's not done quite yet. A fun conversation with the legend, John Beck. All right, John, first off, congratulations. Your guys go 1 and 2 with Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. What's that like, man?
I mean, it's pretty awesome. We kind of hoped it would be that. We didn't know what order it would be. One was going to go 1 and one was going to go 2, but it was pretty cool today to, have the opportunity to see those guys just a couple days ago, send them off on their flights, hey, all the best, and then boom, to see it kind of materialize today. And they both have earned it. They both worked extremely hard. They've had great careers. So, now it'll be on to the next chapter as professionals. But it's cool for us as 3D QB. We've had first rounders. We've had top 5 picks. But to have 2 guys go back-to-back 1 and 2, it's pretty awesome.
At what point did you realize that your football legacy would be as a coach rather than like the BYU guy and the NFL guy? Because right now you're like the quarterback guru in the NFL. Like you're on all these shows. It's going well.
I could have never drawn this up this way. I could have never painted the picture this way. But I've learned the older you get and the further away you get from your playing days, it's all about what you're doing currently. So, right now this is the current thing. It's gone really, really well. And we've been fortunate to be able to train the guys that are really, really good guys. So, that's a big part of it, right? It's a lot to do with the opportunity that I've had with some of the guys and, their hard work has paid off and that's helped us.
Okay, obviously, Jaren Hall is going to be in the mix tomorrow. What is your sort of anticipation, given that people talk to you about Jaren, and we're hoping potentially go second or third round if he goes day 3, maybe early day 3, we hope. But ultimately, like the fit is better than the round probably at this point because he's probably going to be a backup.
Yeah, I think like the thing that we've all kind of told Jaren is, look, like you have a wide range of what we're hearing back from teams. So because of that, there's no way to like pinpoint it on something. At times you can give guys, look, it's going to be within probably these 12 to 15 picks. Jaren's different. Some teams, they have him with like a 3rd round grade, but because of some injury history stuff, they don't know what that grade gets put at on draft day because teams are always trying to get those mid-round guys as late as they can rather than trying to move up to guarantee it. There are times that a team, because of the way the cards get shuffled, they're like, we can't not get that guy, let's move up. But for the most part, teams are trying to find a way to get somebody in a later round. So for Jaren, because of the age and the injury stuff, you have this wide range of like 3rd to 5th, 6th. So, I know this for the most part, he's probably anticipating the safer bet is probably somewhere early day 3, but it doesn't mean that somebody couldn't call his name. I have him on my picks going in the 3rd. That's where I feel like with what I've heard from teams, I think that's where like, I think I could see it happening. But at the same time, you just, you never know. But he's definitely getting drafted. He's definitely going to go somewhere to a place that's not just drafting him as development as a 3rd. The pick is going to be to develop him to be their backup soon and then see if he can, develop into starter potential.
Certainly, given the Zach Wilson stuff that's gone down, and we hope Zach gets a chance here in the next, couple years behind Aaron, and I want to ask you, Rodgers, about that in a second. How comfortable do you feel with a guy being in that position? Like, it wasn't what you were asked to do. You were asked to get in there with the tough situation, and obviously that was difficult. Zach, same thing. Is there a benefit to being asked to not be the guy right away in the NFL?
Yeah, I remember when I got picked, the day after I got picked, they said, here's the plan. And they gave me the years I would sit and the years that I would be the main backup and the years, this is ideal. And all of a sudden when it's a disaster, it doesn't shake down that way. Zach's was unique because the Jets didn't go out and have a veteran on the roster. So it was like from the get-go, the plan was just to get him on the field. And that's tough. Unless you've come from a situation, I'm going to kind of say like Bryce Young. Bryce Young had multiple NFL coaches that had already been offensive coordinators that were running exactly what they ran in the offense in the NFL, and they're doing it at Alabama. So day in and day out, like if you look at it right now, Alabama is going to put together a number of dudes that are going to go in the first 3 rounds of the draft. So every single day at practice, you're going against NFL caliber guys. That's going to prepare you better than anything college football can. So, to me, like Zach's situation was one that it was like, let's get him out there and let's develop him on the go. Well, in tough situations, that is really hard. It takes patience. I look at somebody like Troy Aikman, Peyton Manning. I think both those guys led the NFL in interceptions their first rookie season. So like, that's understandable. So then it comes down to the patience of the people around him. Can the situation improve? Unfortunately, year 2, even though the Jets were winning, it was like there was this expectation of like, but we want to win a certain way. Zach's not meeting that. My hope is that what would have been really good for him his rookie year and having a veteran can be what's great for him in year 3. Have the opportunity to be there with Aaron, learn from Aaron. The pressure's not on Zach, right? It's going to be about Aaron Rodgers taking that team to the playoffs. And all you do is you put your head down if you're Zach and you just work, and learn.
Is the hope, obviously, that he gets another opportunity in the next couple of years? You'd think Aaron's there a minimum of 2 years. Who knows how much time he has with the Jets? But is Zach going to need to go to another team after his rookie contract to get that opportunity, perhaps?
I mean, I don't know. His best thing may be on another team, but I would say this, like, there are chances that he does have an opportunity to play. He's going to play in preseason games. Aaron Rodgers isn't going to play much in the preseason games. And so Zach's going to get a bunch of reps with the 1s and 2s in preseason. That's opportunities to have good things happen again for him, which that's the priority right now. Play ball, have good things happen so you can get in that groove again. And so to me, there can still be really good football things happening in New York. And look, if the things can turn and, all that stuff with like the fan base and all that, like if it can shift, great. And he can stay in New York and have good things happen. If he doesn't, that's okay. I mean, because he can still improve. He can still be a better player. Like, I'm not going to make like some hot take prediction, but I will say, I think Sam Darnold is going to have some really good things happen in San Francisco. And here's a guy that went to the Jets for a couple of years. They didn't keep him. Now he goes to Carolina. They don't keep him, but he plays some good football, has some good things happen. And now he's going to go to San Francisco, which is probably his best situation of his career. And I predict some good things happening. So for Zach, do I think some good football is in front of him? Absolutely. Does that mean he stays a Jet? I don't know. Maybe his best opportunity comes 2-3 years down the road somewhere else. Who knows?
I know you're a big Kyle Shanahan fan because you got to know Kyle in your NFL career, of course. And I just think Zach's fate changes if he goes to 3 to the Niners.
Yeah.
Versus 2. Like in the multiverse, I'm like, oh, that would have been the spot, man. And as a Seahawks fan, I would have loved it and hated it.
Yeah. What's tough is there were some discussions in the very beginning when it was his pro day. San Francisco went up on his pro day. And when we were in the car.
John Lynch was there.
I know. And when we were in the car, wait, was Lynch there? I think he was, wasn't he?
He was.
When
they had traded up that day.
Yeah, when we were in the car, I rode back to the airport with his agents, and we were on the phone, and like, you just, without going into detail, there were conversations of, what do we do? Like, let's talk about this. And yeah, it's tough because it's easy to look back in hindsight and say, what if? But look, every year in the draft, guys get picked and they have zero control. It's the difference, right? Like if you're growing up in a high school situation and it's not great, your family's going to do something to either move, boundary exception. They're going to do something. If your aspirations are to get to college football, they're going to do something. And you have control over that. College football, you get to pick the college you go to, right? Even if it's not going well, transfer, I'm out, I'm going somewhere else. You have so much, you have control. In the pro game on draft day, you are sitting in front of a TV and somebody's going to pick you and you have no choice. It's really kind of a strange deal and you're just crossing your fingers. And I remember people telling me that because some teams like Oakland, Detroit, Cleveland, they were picking quarterbacks my year. And it was like this weird thing of like the term, I'd never heard it before. Quarterback graveyard is the first time I heard it. Oakland, Cleveland, Detroit, man, John, just, you got to be careful, cross your fingers, hope it goes good because, man, those places have been quarterback graveyards. And so when I got picked by Miami, I'm thinking, this is nice. I didn't go to those places. And then Miami goes 1-15. You never know.
Yeah. His pro day was too good. I blame you. Just kidding. No, it was awesome. It really, that famous throw, didn't need it. No, I'm just messing. Okay, back to Jaren Hall. You mentioned the 3rd round grade. Is there a couple of teams that you think he'd really fit in well as the backup right away?
I mean, I'll tell you what I'll just say, I picked him to go to Seattle, and there's probably some bias there.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Let's go.
I mean, look, there is some bias there because I want Jaren to go to a spot that I feel like would be a great spot for him. That doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Right.
Hopefully, like sometimes you put it out there in the universe and you will it to happen or something. But I mean, I look at the situation. Geno Smith has learned some great lessons. Geno Smith had a Pro Bowl year. Geno Smith is the guy. They're building pieces there. You look at that wide receiver core that they have. My goodness, if you have to play a game as a rookie, you want some dudes around you. Seattle's got it, right? What is Pete Carroll like? What is the foundation of Seattle? Play great defense. Play great defense. Let's run the ball. Let's play action pass. I'm like, it's Jaren. And then when things break down, the dude's got the athleticism to make plays outside the pocket. It's almost like the formula that they put together to help Russell Wilson win is a great formula, and it could be one that Jaren Hall thrives in. So, do I know that's where he's going to go? No. But it was kind of like one of those things where as I'm going down the list, third round, that's kind of like on the higher side of where some teams have him. But to me, I'm like, I would love for a team like Seattle to say, you know what, let's go do it. Let's go grab that guy, And so to me, I'm sure part of my pick was because that's where I wanted him to go. And if I didn't know him, I didn't pick DTR or these other guys, I didn't, guess where those guys were going to go. I guess where the guys I trained went. So I'd love to see that. Here's what I do know. Kansas City's in the mix. New Orleans could potentially be in the mix. I think, if Houston hadn't gone CJ early, man, I mean, here's one thing. This is going to sound kind of crazy, but do not be surprised if a team like Indianapolis doesn't also take a fourth-round quarterback. They really like Jaren a lot. And there's those models that go back to the Mike Holmgren days, the John Gruden days, where they say you can never have enough good quarterbacks to develop. Mike Shanahan did it when they picked RG3, I believe second overall. Then they went and grabbed Kirk Cousins in the fourth.
Yes. Do
not be surprised if the Colts, they could grab another quarterback, and I know they really, really like Jaren.
And that's interesting because we haven't seen it a ton, especially in the modern game. But frankly, I'd like him to develop behind a vet. And maybe like you were mentioning, that's interesting. It is good to have BYU back in the quarterback game. You are, part of this process as the off-season and in-season kind of coach there. And Roderick obviously has done an amazing job. We're hoping Keaton Slovis, another one of your guys, and a guy you were influential with. It just feels good and right that BYU's in the quarterback game again.
You know what was cool? I was just with Keaton and a bunch of the wide receivers today. We were training today. And to have the conversation where I get to say, hey, look, when you get to the NFL, when you're on an NFL team, because I firmly believe Keaton is an NFL guy. I've trained enough of them to know there are teams that are going to absolutely like the way Keaton throws the ball, the way he plays with the base in the pocket, how smart he is. He does so many good things. He's a big dude. And I just think it's so cool that you see this. It's exactly what Aaron Roderick wants to have. We've had this conversation together. And he's like, this is what I want. This is what I believe can happen. I mean, he called it a couple of years ago. He's like, look, Zach is phenomenal. And I know that Jaren, if we can continue to develop in the right way, I know he's a guy that's got, draft capabilities. And that's now being realized. And Keaton, same thing. When all those conversations first started with Aaron and, about Keaton, that's an NFL guy. To get an NFL guy to come to BYU. And look, here's what's going to happen. If you can have 3 draftable draft guys in a row, your place becomes a destination. And it's going to be great for the university. It makes it tough because the guys there, you better know, competition, whether it's there already or whether it's moving in, there's going to be a lot of competition to be that starting quarterback because it's going draft QB.
I read a book that really helped my young fandom of BYU called And They Came to Pass by Lee Benson. Just the greatest title for a book.
It is.
All about the quarterbacks. And it started with Kerry Scheide and it kind of ended with Ty at the time. BYU's back in that game. John, we appreciate the time. I could talk to you all day about a million things. Do you like my picture, by the way? Micah?
Yeah, no, awesome. That's the first thing I noticed. I'm like, you know what?
Yeah, this is you on your back right there.
That was a fun play. You know what was actually cool, too? I got to throw some passes to my guy, Johnny Harleen, in the alumni game. A lot of fun.
That was awesome.
It was so cool. You know what? I threw a pass. I threw Johnny a pass. I threw Curtis passes. I threw Manasseh passes. I threw Fahu passes. I got to throw passes to all these guys, Dennis Pitta, Austin Collie. I mean, back when I was, 22, 23, 24 years old. That was so cool. That's the part about the alumni game that I think is so rad, because it's like, here as a 41-year-old guy, those are just memories of what used to be like. And all of a sudden, you get to go back and feel like you're 20-something years old again, throwing it to those guys. So it's cool.
It was a very fun night. It was awesome. Well, thanks for the time, and best of luck with the rest of the draft, and hopefully we'll see Jaren on Friday.
Yeah, absolutely.